anything about Kingdom Hearts 3, mostly because I haven't been looking into it. I don't want even the slightest thing spoiled about that game until I've played it. And it's not even out yet, so... But my stance on Kingdom Hearts 3 is only because I never expected a Kingdom Hearts 3. I expected a million more handheld releases. So to know there's going to be a third game in the series officially is especially when Birth by Sleep came out. Oh my god, when that came out after and then well, not Birth by Sleep. 358 over 2 days was the second one, I think. It then recoded. When those two came out on DS, it was like, yeah, they're just gonna milk this series now because they don't need to worry about it anymore. And I got so pessimistic. And I still haven't finished Recoded. I haven't played Birth by Sleep because I didn't have a chance. But I did like 358 over 2 days, so who knows. It does feel like they were either not giving the series the credit it deserved or just milking it, though. But it could be worse. The one thing I'm worried about with the next addition to the series is, yeah, it looks really good. It's definitely the game they need to introduce the series to the naysayers of the series. The people are like, turn-based RPGs aren't good. Final Fantasy sucks because of its combat. Stuff like that. If the gameplay wasn't in there, you need to look into that. And yeah, that was really cool too. The setting looks really awesome. I can't wait for that game. I can't wait to see how it goes over. If they give it the love and attention it needs, it'll be the first game since 10. In terms of the single player games, that's gone over incredibly with the fans and maybe even non-fans, because it's supposed to be a new take on the combat. I can kind of see that, but I think it's mostly the main character. He looks like he's got a Spike feel going on with him. We don't know much about him yet because all we have is a fucking trailer. A couple trailers maybe. I just went backwards. Fuck. I'm getting Cloud, yes. I don't have him. I'm getting him. Yes. Yep. Welcome, by the way. How's it going? Good to see you today. Yeah, I kind of gave up on my stance of not using the duped. The duped Excaliburs. Because we're so close to the end that I'd like to wrap this up today. Well, that's nice. Curious note, because I have a question about the remake, and I'm curious if you've played it yourself. To know if you would be able to answer said question. You never said anything, man. At least if you did, I never got it in my chat. But welcome. I mean, I don't sit there with the viewer list open because my chat just puts it over my chat. So I can't see when people enter the room. You, in the sense that I want to know if you've played the PSP remake, to see if you can answer my question. Anybody who has, it would be awesome. Because I want to know something really important before I play it on cast. But yeah. I mean, basically, oh, you thought, because Saturn typed something as you came in, I was welcoming you? No, I wish I did have something like that. At the same time, it would be really, really, over the top, and it could get overbearing. But that would be really cool. But no, I just sort of cast, so... It would be cool to implement something like that on my stream, but I don't know how fun it would be. But have you played it? That's kind of what I want to know. I want to know about the... basically my question is to anybody who's played the game, is I've heard it has slowdown when you use abilities and items. And I want to know if that is true. Because it could get annoying for anybody who isn't a fan of the game. Like just sort of coming in and watching it, seeing the game or whatever. And I also want to know if it's normal or not for when I play it, because I'll deal with it regardless. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but alright, that's good to know. It's going to make my method of playing the game a little bit more frustrating for people to watch, since I do just sort of sit there and spam the remake of this one on PSP, Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, is the game I was referencing there. Well, it's almost the same. I was looking into it yesterday because I do have the copy. So I went online to find out what differences there were. And I saw that was a big one that was noted on the wiki, on the Final Fantasy wiki. Other ones being like apparently all of the big glitches have been fixed, like the quickening glitch, the JP scroll glitch, the item dupe. I don't know if that's true or not. When I play, I'm going to act under the assumption they're true and not try them. It has 2 new secret characters who, somebody was explaining to me one of them, and now I know who it is. And, but anyway, it has quite a few differences, but nothing to the story. And, that I know of, other than the dialogue is different. Which you just said. Awesome. I have seen the opening cutscene, which was really cool. We might play that soon, but probably not as the next game. Because you'll see them in this fight because I use Orlandu. Orlandu, Agris, Gafgarion, all those people are good examples of ability slowdown, I'm sure, because they have long abilities. But, I can show off Night Sword, and then you could compare it to Gafgarion's attack at the beginning of the game if you're wanting a comparison. Or Stasis Sword for Agris, etc. I've never played Xenogears. So I don't know what it is. And I've heard the name, that's about it. I don't know genre, I don't know general game length, I don't even know what console, etc. it would have been on. I didn't use Night Sword, I wasn't thinking. Anyway, RPG is very vague though, because JRPG is closer to what I'm looking for. So it's turn-based, essentially. Is it a Square game? Or is knowing if it's Square Enix or something is also pretty important, because then I know exactly where their story writing is. Alright. Oh, that sucks. I'll look into it. See if I can get a hold of it so I can play it eventually. I'm not sure what I'll be playing tomorrow because of my schedule. All of the PlayStation Final Fantasies, with the exception of 9, had really, really complex stories at that time frame. Like everything Square was doing at the time was criticized or either praised for its story. Typically criticized. Shame, but that's kind of the way it was. So that doesn't surprise me. I doubt that, because the depth to which 7 and 8 are for normal people is really, really... They're very, very deep in meaning, etc. So, even this game has a pretty deep meaning. I'm sure it's more complex than those. I just doubt it's much more, because at that point it would be too convoluted to appreciate. Because people consider 8 too convoluted to appreciate. And a lot of people consider 7 too confusing to appreciate. Like, I'm sure they did it, because if they didn't learn from 7, and at the time reviews weren't as big of a deal, like individual reviews of a game, because it was when the internet was still in its infancy. But those games suffer because of their story. Sadly, because I thought they were great. So is this game, but in a different way. This game uses real stories, but it's done in metaphor and simile and stuff like that, so it's harder to catch the meaning of it. But yeah, I don't know. That's a weird topic, too dark. Because, especially for the 90s, too dark. The 90s was when we were starting to get more politically correct, but fucking... and more, child-friendly, as it were. But, then I pose this question to you. Do you think Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VIII are shallow? Because if you do, then your ability to unravel a story might be better than most Final Fantasy fans. Because I thought the ability to interpret those games was very easy. So I found the stories very compelling and very fun. Then it would be more complex than literally any Final Fantasy game in the series. But that's not saying much. To be honest. I agree 7 and 8 are great, and people who think 7 are overrated are... I don't understand. But I won't say 7's the best, and in my opinion, 8 is my favorite. Of course, I still can't give my full opinion on the entire series until I've played them all and beaten them all, so that I have the full stories of all of them. Which means I have a lot of Final Fantasies to play. And when I finally do finish them, they'll be on this cast. The ones I need to beat are 2, which I only dropped because of its leveling system. 5. I don't remember why I dropped that one. Probably because I forgot about it. Or college, because that was when I was, I picked that one up during my busiest year of college, so that's probably why. And, 6, because I couldn't get into Kefka, but I do need to beat it and see if Kefka gets better. Then 9, 10-2, 12, 13-2, and Lightning Returns. I played 7 first, and then I played 8. So, I have more nostalgia for 7. But that doesn't cloud my judgment in terms of which one I liked more. As I definitely have... I get a better feeling from seeing... like, Diamond Weapon, the Sapphire Weapon cutscene. The opening. Well, maybe not the opening. Final Fantasy VIII had a fantastic opening cutscene. And I get really nostalgic over that, but when it comes down to the which one I enjoy to play through, characters 1, I vastly enjoyed the characters in 8 over 7. Because I connected with Squall more, and the romantic story has a payout. There is a half-assed romantic story in 7 with no payout that you know of. That doesn't detriment the game at all, though. Plus, I like the plot of 8 more. Fighting the sorceress, the idea of Seed and the garden, time compression was a little out there, but I like that. But I'm not a gameplay and difficulty and all the like mechanics of a game are way down here when I judge a game. Like, everything else is up here, and then how the game plays and feels like when you're playing it are way down here. So when I drop a game because of that, there was probably nothing hooking me on it. I've never finished watching it. That's my opinion on it. Not because I thought it was terrible, but because I never finished watching it. I know there are extremely polarized views of that movie. People who hate it and think it has... I know people who think it's destroyed the image of Final Fantasy VII, but I can have no opinions until I finish the movie, which I just never did. It's just like the games I've started and not finished. I won't give an opinion without seeing it in its entirety. It is good to question that because it means nostalgia is starting to not be a factor anymore. A lot of people's favorite is the first game they ever played because it's what got them into the series. And when they play it again, none of the flaws surface. They only see what the nostalgia and what made them love the series to begin with. So, I have some, but I didn't have a PSP available to me to finish it. My cousin doesn't use his anymore, so he gave me the games I want to cast so that I can cast them. So that will end up on this cast eventually. I haven't played any of the spin-offs of the Final Fantasy series. I've wanted to, because I've wanted to know, in my opinion, if they're good or bad. But, that's something I want to do eventually. Soon. And that's something I care absolutely zero about. If the story's good, the character development is good, the atmosphere is good, if those things hold true, I will play a game even if the combat is completely broken. And unless it's literally unplayable, but I mean